All right, Shalom, Mike. First and foremost, I'd like to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Racha, Kodash. I'd like to give double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone. I'd like to say Shalom to the elect that teach the word on true faith and sincerity. And today I just want to get into a lesson concerning Edom's end. And it's not the things that we're seeing on the planet Earth, are not random events, but indicators to the end of this system. And pretty much what's gonna, the icing on the cake, so to speak, is World War III. And of course, that has been the talk, so to speak, concerning this war going on with Iran. There's a prophecy that's going to happen before that, and that's the mark of the beast. That mark, which is the microchip. Before the destruction, that will be implemented. And that's why we see, everything's becoming digital, the digital system. CBDCs, even now these certain apps, Apple Pay and Cash App, they show you where that transition is heading towards. But ultimately, it's going to lead to everyone getting that chip. It just shows where we at. This man is really at his end, So it's an article from Newsbreak. It said the Washington Times. It says fear spread about businesses implanting microchips in workers. It says never mind chipping your dog. Some companies are giving employees implants that give them access to facilities, company accounts, and vending machines with the wave of a hand. And that's how they promote it, as convenience, security purposes. He's known as that cunning hunter. Well, as you can see, he's trying to even get the other side of the spectrum, so to speak. Those that have doubt. It said the new technology sounds convenient and cool, but it alarms privacy rights advocates. And some states have moved on to ban the practice. As you can see now, they banned it. That don't mean it ain't gonna come back up. It's gonna come on a different banner. Just like that crown. Under the banner of health and safety, it was mandatory for you to get that thing to enter into certain establishments. People have lost jobs for refusing to take in that thing because it was a mandatory. But then you had some businesses that was like, fuck it. They didn't agree with the policies. But with this system, it's going to, all these people are going to, all these everything is going to be on one accord. Even with, Scripture talk about what was written aforetime, Raphael learning when you read Daniel the 3rd chapter concerning Nebuchadnezzar. It talks about pretty much all the government, from the captains and the sheriffs, the officers, everybody was on one accord for that image, man. It says in March, Washington governor Bob Ferguson signed House Bill 2303 into law. It prohibits employers from requiring, coercing, or even requesting employees to get that thing implant for any reason. He said microchips may seem like science fiction, but the technology is here. See? We in the future. This is the Bible days. This is Breonna Thomas, a Democrat and sponsor of the bill. It creates an opportunity for employers to track employees during work hours and at home. This is scary. Well, yeah, because you're the cattle. But it just show you where we at in this process. This is all part of this man's, in this time, him ruling, it was certain tasks he had to do. Of course, bring forth wickedness in the earth. It also speaks to that as well in Revelation, the 6th chapter. He was given a sword to take peace. Under this man's watch, you had a world war, a global war. 2 of them. Now we on the 3rd one. And this is going to be the one to take them out. So this time, this rulership, he have a certain task. And really, this is the last task right here before the destruction. Bringing forth that chip. This is 2nd Ezra chapter 4, verse 37. By measure have he measured the times, and by number have he numbered the times. And he doth not move nor stir them until the said measure be fulfilled. See? So these times the Lord have measured and numbered is really concerning these kingdoms and empires. It talks about how he changed the times and the seasons and removed and set up kings. That's the measuring and numbering of times. And it said, he doth not move or stir until the said measure be fulfilled. So just like the Lord had Egypt set up, he talks about that 400 years. So that time they had a certain measurement they could feel their captivity. And then after everything ran its course, that was it, man. Even when you go into a minute scale, I believe it's Luke. the 2nd chapter, concerning Simeon the prophet, and how the angel told him that he ain't gonna be, he wouldn't die until he seen Yahushua. Then when he seen Yahushua, that was his measure was fulfilled. Then he said he was able to go to the spirit realm then. Well, that's even going concerning kingdoms as well. They had a time to rule, and then within that rulership, certain things come to pass, man. Then once that it ran across, then that's it. It's time to move on. So that's how we know we had Edom's end. Because, of course, World War III is the talk, and this digital system, that chip. And just them even bringing up, you sign a law that is not required, lets you know that that's the talk. Revelation 13:16, it says, and he calls of all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand, their forehead, or in their forehead. And you got Neuralink, for the forehead aspect. And you had I think it was a TikToker. Her name was Chip Girl or something like that. So you had these certain examples of the hand and the forehead of that mark. And right now, these people are voluntarily, getting it for tests and to be example for others to get it. Encourage them that it's safe and all that. But eventually, it's going to be mandatory. That's what that word cause of is there, man. It's going to be an ordinance. Just going back, as I mentioned earlier, in the spirit concerning that the crown. And without that jab, you can only go so far. Hell, you really couldn't go nowhere without the mask. You had to put the mask on, then now you got to show the jab, you know. And that was for only certain establishments, and then you had others that didn't follow the policies, but now in this time he said he calls them all. So all these businesses, and because this is the land of traffic, it's gonna have to go through that chip. Ain't no more side jobs and you getting paid on the table. That's you know what I mean. That's gonna be everything gonna be on that chip, man. So just them saying that they passing a law that it ain't got to be required, let you know that it is on the books, that eventually it is going to be required. That's the time we coming into, man. It says, and that no man might buy or sell save he that had the mark or the